"Can I share this table?" asked the paraplegic girl to the single father in the cafe. Then what he did next made her cry tears she never expected. Tell us your city, hit subscribe, and get ready for today's story. The ending, absolutely unforgettable. Marcus Riley's hands were still black with engine grease when he pushed through the glass door of Joe's Cafe at 7:47 p.m. His back ached from 3 hours under a Ford F-150, and his daughter Emma had been waiting at the neighbor's since 6 a.m. The smell of motor oil clung to his clothes, mixing with the burnt coffee and day-old pastries inside. "Just coffee, Joe. Black." The old man poured without looking up. 65 cents. Marcus counted exact change, mostly dimes, still warm from his pocket. $4.50 in tips today. 3 oil changes, 2 brake jobs, and 1 BMW owner who'd thrown $1 at him after Marcus fixed his transmission in under an hour. "You're the help. Don't expect a tip for doing your job." Marcus had picked up that $1, folded it carefully, and put it in the envelope taped under his toolbox. Emma's college fund. $17 this month. The coffee was burnt but hot. Marcus wrapped both hands around the chipped white mug, feeling warmth seep into his calloused palms. His father's hands had looked like this, scarred, stained, honest. "Kindness costs nothing," his dad used to say, "but it's worth everything." Through the window, Marcus saw his truck, a beat-up 1998 Chevy with 230,000 miles. Emma's booster seat in back, surrounded by fast food wrappers and a teddy bear Sarah had given her before. He didn't let himself finish that thought. 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days. The door opened. Marcus glanced up. She was maybe 35, dark hair pulled back, wearing a cream blazer that probably cost more than his rent, and she was in a wheelchair, sleek, expensive, the kind that whispered money before you noticed the designer bag or diamond earrings. "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but every table is taken. Would you mind if I—" "Please." Marcus gestured to the empty side before she could finish. She maneuvered easily, locking the wheelchair across from him. Up close, she was beautiful in that untouchable way. Perfect skin, perfect makeup, perfectly controlled, but her hands shook as she set down her cup. "Thank you. I'm Victoria." "Marcus." He wrapped his hands around the mug, suddenly aware of the grease under his fingernails, the oil stains shaped like a handprint on his work shirt. They sat in silence. Joe's Cafe had 12 tables, all full. The evening rush of people too tired to cook, too broke for anything fancier. A couple argued in whispers. An old man read yesterday's paper, turning pages with deliberate slowness. A construction worker counted cash, face tight with worry, lips moving as he calculated something. Marcus knew these people. He was these people. Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, jaw tightening, then again and again. On the 4th buzz, her hands clenched into fists. "You can answer it, I don't mind." "I mind, it's just difficult people expecting impossible things." Marcus nodded. He understood difficult. "Daddy!" He turned. Emma burst through the door, Mrs. Chen behind her. His daughter's sneakers had holes. Her jacket was too small, the sleeves ending 2 inches above her wrists. But her smile lit up the room, gap-toothed and perfect. "Baby, what are you doing here? Mrs. Chen said we could visit. I drew you a picture." Emma waved paper, stick figures labeled Daddy and Me, under a yellow sun, the sky colored in careful blue crayon. "It's beautiful, sweetheart." Marcus pressed a kiss to her curls, breathing in her strawberry shampoo, the cheap kind from the dollar store. "But you're supposed to stay with Mrs. Chen until I pick you up." "I know, but I missed you so much." And Emma noticed Victoria. Eyes went wide. "Whoa, cool wheelchair." "Emma." Marcus felt his face heat. "That's not polite." But Victoria was laughing, real laughter. "It's okay, and thank you, it is pretty cool." "Can you do tricks?" Emma moved closer with fearless curiosity. "What kind of tricks?" Like wheelies or spinning. I can spin. Victoria demonstrated a perfect 360. Emma clapped, delighted. Marcus watched this stranger treat Emma like she mattered. Emma got dismissed a lot. The scholarship kid, the girl with holes in her shoes. That was so cool. If I ever get a wheelchair, I want to spin like that. Emma. Marcus's voice was gentle but firm. Time to go, say goodbye. But Daddy, now Emma. His daughter's face fell, but she obeyed. Goodbye, wheelchair lady. You're really pretty and nice. Victoria's smile faltered. Goodbye, Emma. You're pretty wonderful yourself. Marcus took Emma's hand. Thank you for sharing the table. Don't be. She's lovely. They were almost at the door when Emma pulled free and ran back. His daughter climbed onto the seat and threw her arms around Victoria's neck. You looked sad. My daddy says hugs make sad people feel better. Victoria's face crumbled. Her arms came up slowly and wrapped around Emma like she was holding something infinitely precious. Thank you, Victoria whispered. Thank you so much. Emma pulled back, patted Victoria's shoulder and ran to Marcus. Okay, Daddy, ready. Marcus caught his daughter's hand, but couldn't look away from Victoria's face. She was crying openly now, one hand pressed to her mouth. Their eyes met, and Marcus understood that whatever was broken in her was different from what was broken in him, but just as real, just as painful. Daddy, why is the pretty lady crying? Because your hug was the nicest thing that happened to her in a long time, baby. Then she must be really sad, like you sometimes are when you think I'm sleeping. Marcus's throat tightened painfully. Yeah, baby, like that. Inside the cafe, Victoria Hayes, CEO of Hayes Technologies, worth $2-3 billion, sobbed for the first time since the accident that had taken her legs, her marriage, and her belief that kindness still existed. The grease-stained mechanic who'd shared his table, whose daughter had hugged her without pity, had given her something she hadn't felt in 3 years, 8 months, 16 days. Hope. Victoria sat in the corner booth for 23 minutes after Marcus left, trying to compose herself. Her mascara was ruined, her armor was cracked, and she couldn't stop thinking about that little girl's hug or the way Marcus had looked at his daughter, like she was the sun and moon and every star combined. When was the last time someone had looked at Victoria like she mattered that much? Her phone buzzed. 15 missed calls from Robert. She turned it off. Marcus was under a Honda at 547A. Hit me when Mr. Patterson's boots appeared. Riley, visitor. Marcus rolled out, wiping his hands. The shop didn't open until 7 a.m. Who, Victoria Hayes, sat in Patterson's auto repair, completely out of place in a navy suit that probably cost $3,000. Her driver stood behind her. Mr. Riley, I hope I'm not interrupting. Just me and the Honda. Something I can help you with? I wanted to thank you properly. She gestured to the driver, who produced a white envelope. For your kindness. The envelope was thick. Marcus didn't take it. Thank you, but no. Victoria's eyebrows rose. You haven't looked inside? Don't need to. You don't pay people for basic human decency, Ms. Hayes. It's Victoria, and it's just a gift. For Emma. College. Maybe. No. Marcus's voice was gentle but absolute. Emma and I are doing fine. Fine? Victoria's professional mask slipped. You're working at 5:47 in the morning. She stopped herself. I'm sorry, that was out of line. Yeah, it was. Marcus grabbed a socket wrench, sliding back under the Honda. Thanks for stopping by. He expected her to leave. Instead, the soft whir of her wheelchair moved closer. I looked you up, Victoria said to the underside of the car. Marcus Riley, age 33, widowed 3 years ago, one daughter named Emma Riley. You work 60 to 70 hours a week here, sometimes more. You've been doing it since your wife died, and you're 3 months behind on your rent, $3,600 in arrears. Marcus's hand tightened on the wrench until his knuckles went white. You had no right. You're right, I didn't. A pause, her voice softened, but I wanted to understand. Wanted to know if it was real. If what was real? Marcus didn't come out from under the car. Your daughter's hug, your kindness. Whether it was some angle, some scheme. But it's not, is it? Her voice was soft. You really are just a good man doing his best. Marcus rolled out, sitting up so fast his head nearly hit the undercarriage. Lady, I don't know what world you come from, but in mine people help each other because it's right, not because there's an angle. They stared at each other. Victoria's grey eyes were sharp, intelligent, but there was something underneath. A loneliness that Marcus recognized because he saw it every time he looked in his bathroom mirror. My ex-husband used to say that kindness was weakness, Victoria said quietly, that soft people get crushed. I started to believe him. Your ex-husband sounds like an asshole. The corner of Victoria's mouth twitched. He is. She sighed. The divorce was finalized 2 months ago. He got the house in the Hamptons. I got the company. And he told the judge I was mentally unstable, said the accident made me... She stopped. Sorry, you don't need to hear this. Marcus stood, grabbed a shop towel, wiped his hands. 3 years ago, my wife Sarah was driving home from her nursing shift. It was raining. A drunk driver ran a red light. She died on impact. Victoria's breath caught. Marcus, I'm so... He got 6 months house arrest, lost his license for 2 years. Marcus's voice was flat. The judge said it was his first offense. Meanwhile, Emma asks me every night why Mummy doesn't come home. That's not right. That's not justice. No, it's not. Marcus met her eyes. But being angry doesn't bring Sarah back. Doesn't pay the rent. Doesn't put food on the table. So I get up at 4:30 every morning, and I work, and I come home to my daughter, and I try to show her that the world isn't completely broken, even when I'm not sure I believe it myself. Victoria's hands gripped the arms of her wheelchair. 2 years ago, I was driving home from a board meeting. I fell asleep at the wheel, lost control, woke up in the hospital 6 weeks later. No legs, no husband. He filed for divorce while I was still in rehab. And everyone looked at me with pity, like I'd become less than human. You know what Emma saw last night? Marcus asked. A pretty lady with a cool wheelchair who could do tricks. That's it. No pity, no judgment, just a person. She's a remarkable child. She's 7, she's supposed to be innocent. Marcus's jaw tightened. I'm trying like hell to keep her that way. Riley! Mr. Patterson's voice boomed from the office. You charging by the hour for conversation? Get that Honda done. Victoria flinched at the tone. Marcus just grabbed his wrench. I need to work, Ms. Hayes. Thanks for the offer, but Emma and we don't take charity. It's not charity. Victoria reached into her bag, pulled out a business card. It's an offer. Hayes Technologies is launching a new manufacturing facility upstate. We need someone to run the maintenance department. Salary is $78,000 a year, full benefits, housing allowance. Marcus stared at the card. $78,000. He currently made $32,000. I'm not qualified. You rebuilt a transmission in under an hour yesterday. That BMW owner, he's my corporate attorney, called me last night. Told me he'd found the best mechanic in the city, said you were wasted working for Patterson. So you're here because your lawyer told you to hire me? I'm here because your daughter hugged me like I was worth something, and her father treated me like a human being instead of a tragic headline. And because good people deserve better than 70-hour weeks for poverty wages. Marcus looked at the card, then at Victoria, then at the envelope in her driver's hand. What's in the envelope? $5,000 for Emma's college fund. And the job. Real, if you want it, no strings, no charity. Just a legitimate offer because you're clearly skilled and clearly desperate, though you're too proud to admit it. Marcus stood there, grease on his hands, back aching, thinking about Emma's shoes with holes and the eviction notice in his glove compartment. "I'll think about it," he finally said. Victoria's eyes widened slightly. She'd expected him to refuse outright. "Really? Really?" Marcus slid back under the Honda. "But the 5,000, that's still a no. Give it to someone who needs it." "You need it. Need and accept are different things." His voice was muffled under the car. "Thanks for the offer, Ms. Hayes. I'll call you by Friday." Victoria sat there for a long moment. Then she smiled, genuinely smiled for the first time in months. "It's Victoria. And thank you for considering it." She left the card on the workbench. 3 hours later, Marcus's phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Emma's daddy?" A woman's voice, uncertain. "Yes." "Who's this?" "This is Principal Morrison from Willowbrook Elementary. There's been an incident with Emma, nothing serious, but we need you to come in." Marcus's heart stopped. "What kind of incident?" "Emma punched another student." Emma, his sweet, gentle Emma, who cried over dead butterflies and hugged strangers to make them feel better. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. He found Emma sitting outside the principal's office, her right hand wrapped in a paper towel with ice, her face streaked with tears, but her jaw set in a way that reminded him painfully of Sarah. "Baby, what happened?" Emma's lower lip trembled. "Bradley said mean things." "What kind of mean things?" "He said," her voice broke, "he said you were poor trash, and I was charity case, and Mommy probably killed herself to get away from us." Marcus's vision went white-hot red for exactly 3 seconds. Then he knelt in front of his daughter, taking her small face in his greasy hands. "Emma, listen to me. What Bradley said wasn't true. Not any of it. You hear me? But we are poor, Daddy. My shoes have holes. I can't go on field trips. Mrs. Patterson gives me her lunch sometimes because mine is just crackers and—" Emma was crying hard now. "And I miss Mommy so much, and Bradley said she was glad to be gone, and I just hit him." "Bradley's mother is here," Principal Morrison said quietly from the doorway. "She wants Emma expelled." Marcus looked up. "Does she now?" "Mr. Riley, I know Emma is normally a model student, but violence cannot be—" "Take me to Bradley's mother." Marcus carried Emma through the hallway, aware of the stairs, aware of his work clothes, aware of being exactly what people assumed: poor, uneducated, not good enough for this school. He'd fought to get Emma in here, fought to keep her here, fought to pretend they belonged. Bradley's mother stood in the hallway outside the nurse's office. Designer handbag, diamond tennis bracelet, the kind of polished contempt Marcus had seen 1,000 times. "Your daughter is a menace," she announced before Marcus could speak. "Bradley has a bruise on his face. I want her expelled immediately." "What did your son say to my daughter?" Marcus's voice was quiet, controlled. "That's irrelevant. Emma committed assault. That's grounds for—" "What did your son say?" Something in Marcus's eyes made Bradley's mother take a step back. I don't know. Children say things. That doesn't give anyone the right to—" "He told my daughter that her dead mother killed herself to escape us, that we're poor trash, that she's a charity case." Marcus's voice never rose above conversational. "Your son is 8 years old, ma'am. Where do you think he learned to talk like that?" Bradley's mother's face flushed. "I never— No?" Marcus shifted Emma in his arms. "You sure about that? Because kids are mirrors. They reflect what they see at home." "Mr. Riley," Principal Morrison interrupted, "perhaps we should all calm down and—" "I am calm." Marcus looked at Emma. "Baby, did you hit Bradley just once or more than once?" "Just once." Emma's voice was small, right in the nose, "like you taught me." "That's my girl." Marcus kissed her forehead. Then he looked at Bradley's mother. "I teach my daughter to defend herself when words become weapons, and I teach her that violence is always a last resort, but sometimes people leave you no choice. Your son left her no choice. This is outrageous. Principal Morrison, I demand. My daughter will not be expelled. Marcus's voice was steel wrapped in silk. She defended herself against cruelty. If you want to press this, we can have a conversation about bullying and your son's pattern of behavior toward the scholarship kids. How he called Jenny Martinez border hopper last month. How he threw Daniel Kim's lunch in the trash and called it dog food. Principal Morrison's eyebrows rose. I wasn't aware of these incidents. Because kids like Emma and Jenny and Daniel don't report them. They're here on scholarships, and they're afraid if they make trouble, they'll lose their spot. Marcus looked directly at Bradley's mother. But I'm not afraid of you, or your money, or your threats. You can't speak to me like I just did. Marcus turned to Principal Morrison. Emma is suspended for 1 day. She'll write an apology for using physical violence, but she will not apologize for defending herself. And if Bradley continues his behavior, I will file formal complaints every single time. Are we clear? Principal Morrison, to her credit, nodded. Crystal clear, Mr. Riley. Marcus carried Emma out of the school. She was quiet until they reached his truck. Am I in trouble, Daddy? Yes and no. Marcus buckled her into the booster seat. Violence is wrong, Em, you know that. But standing up for yourself, protecting your mom's memory, that's right. I'm sorry I made you leave work. Hey! Marcus tilted her chin up. You don't apologize for needing me, okay? Ever. I will always leave work for you. You're the most important thing in my whole life. Hey! Marcus tilted her chin up. You don't apologize for needing me, okay? Ever. I will always leave work for you. You're the most important thing in my whole life. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I wish we had more money, Daddy. Me too, baby. Me too. They sat in the parking lot for a long, quiet moment. Then Marcus pulled Victoria's business card from his pocket. $78,000 a year, housing allowance, full benefits. A chance for Emma to have what she deserved. But it was charity, wasn't it? Offered by a woman who felt sorry for them, who looked at Marcus and saw someone to fix, someone to save. Except that wasn't what he'd seen in Victoria's eyes. He'd seen recognition, understanding, not pity. Marcus pulled out his phone and dialed before he could talk himself out of it. Hayes Technologies, how may I direct your call? Victoria Hayes, please. Tell her it's Marcus Riley calling about the maintenance position. Emma looked up, eyes wide with sudden hope. Daddy? Marcus put a finger to his lips. Hello? Yes, Ms. Hayes. About your offer. Victoria was in the middle of a board meeting when her assistant knocked. I apologize, Ms. Hayes, but there's a call you'll want to take. Line 3. Victoria glanced at the 12 people at the conference table. Can it wait? It's Marcus Riley. Victoria's heart skipped. Excuse me, everyone. She wheeled to the windows. He pressed line 3. Marcus, Ms. Hayes, you still hiring? His voice was gruff, uncomfortable. Victoria could picture him in that grease-stained shirt, jaw tight with the kind of pride that hurt to swallow. I am. She kept her voice professional. Can you start in 2 weeks? Need to give Patterson notice. 3 weeks, okay. 3 weeks is fine. Victoria's hand tightened on the phone. Marcus, can I ask what changed your mind? A long pause. My daughter punched a kid at school today. Kid told her that her dead mother killed herself to escape us, that we're trash. Victoria's breath caught. Jesus. Yeah, Marcus's voice was flat. So I'm calling because maybe you're right. Maybe good people don't have to suffer because they're too proud to accept help. Or maybe I'm making a mistake and I'll regret this. But Emma deserves better than holes in her shoes and kids who make her feel like she's less than human. You're not making a mistake. Victoria turned away from the windows, away from the board members who were watching her with curiosity. And Marcus, for what it's worth, I don't think you're taking charity. I think you're accepting what you've earned through years of hard work and integrity. Then why does it feel like I'm betraying everything my father taught me? Victoria understood that feeling. She'd felt it when she'd sold her first startup, when she'd accepted her inheritance, every time she'd taken something that felt too easy. Because we've been taught that struggling is noble, that suffering proves we're worthy. But maybe that's bullshit. Marcus laughed, short, surprised. Yeah, maybe it is. My assistant will email you the paperwork. Housing is included. 3-bedroom apartment in a complex we own near the facility. Emma can attend the local school, which is excellent. Top-rated, fully funded, no scholarships or charity cases. Thank you. The words seemed to cost him something. Victoria, thank you. Thank me by being the best maintenance director Hayes Technologies has ever had. Yes, ma'am. A pause. By the way, Emma wanted me to tell you something. What's that? She says you give the best hug she's ever had, including mine. I'm a little offended, but she was very insistent. Victoria felt tears prick her eyes. Again. This man and his daughter were destroying every defense she'd spent 2 years building. Tell Emma I said she's tied for first place with her dad. The day Victoria's ex-husband showed up at Joe's cafe, Marcus was sharing a table with her again. It had become a routine over the past 3 weeks. Victoria would meet Marcus after his shift, Emma would join them with Mrs. Chen, and they'd sit in that cracked vinyl booth talking about everything and nothing. Emma would show Victoria her drawings. Marcus would tell stories about disastrous repair jobs. Victoria would laugh, really laugh, and remember what it felt like to be human. Robert Hayes entered Joe's cafe like he owned it. 6'3", silver hair perfectly styled, expensive charcoal suit, the kind of commanding presence that made people instinctively step aside. Marcus felt Victoria stiffen beside him, her wheelchair jerking slightly. Victoria, I've been trying to reach you. I've been ignoring you. Victoria's voice was ice cold. Robert, this is Marcus Riley. Marcus, this is my ex-husband, Robert Hayes. Robert's eyes flicked to Marcus, to his grease-stained work clothes, to the grease still visible under his nails despite 20 minutes of scrubbing. Dismissed him in a single instant. Victoria, we need to talk privately. No, it's about the company. There's been a development with the board, and you can email me the details. I'm busy. Busy? Robert's gaze moved around the cafe with obvious disdain. Having coffee in this dump with a mechanic? Careful. Victoria's voice was soft, dangerous. You're about 3 words away from me making your life very difficult. Emma tugged on Marcus's arm. Daddy, I don't like that man. He feels mean. She's perceptive, Robert said. The child has special needs. Marcus stood slowly, placing himself between Robert and his daughter. You got something to say. Say it to me. Robert smiled, the kind of smile Marcus had seen before, the kind that said, I'm better than you, I always will be, and we both know it. I'm saying that Victoria has a pattern of taking in strays. It's concerning, especially now that she's making business decisions. The board wants to ensure she's mentally competent. Robert, get out! Victoria's hands gripped her wheelchair arms so tightly her knuckles were white. Now, I'm trying to protect you, Victoria, from yourself, from making stupid decisions because you're lonely and desperate and... Marcus's hand shot out, gripping the edge of the table. Not threatening, just there. Man comes into a place where people are trying to have a peaceful evening, starts saying cruel things to his ex-wife, and calls a 7-year-old child special needs like it's an insult. That man should leave, before he says something he really regrets. Robert laughed. Are you threatening me? You're a mechanic. You make what, 30,000 a year? You really think I think kindness matters more than money? Marcus's voice was quiet but steady. I think treating people with respect matters more than how much you're worth. And I think you should leave before you upset my daughter any more than you already have. Your daughter. Robert looked at Emma, then at Victoria, then back at Marcus. Oh, I see. This is what you're doing now, playing house with some single father project? How long until you realize he's just using you for... Get out! Victoria's voice cracked through the cafe like a whip. Get out, Robert. And if you ever speak to Marcus or Emma that way again, I will ruin you. I still own 48% of the company you work for. Don't test me. Robert stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled again, cold, calculating. You know what the board says, Victoria? They say the accident changed you, made you weak, emotional. They're right. He left. The cafe was silent. Victoria was shaking. Actually shaking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to see that Emma had to... Hey! Marcus sat back down, close enough that their shoulders touched. You have nothing to apologize for. He called Emma. He implied she was... He's an asshole. Marcus said it simply, factually. And he's wrong. About you, about me, about Emma, about everything that matters. Victoria looked at him. Really looked at him. This man with grease under his nails and patches on his work pants, who'd stood up for her without hesitation, who'd put himself between his daughter and cruelty like it was the most natural thing in the world. Marcus, I need to tell you something. Her voice was barely a whisper. The job offer, the apartment, all of it. It's not charity, but it's not just business either. I've been alone for 2 years, completely alone. People look at me and see this... She gestured to the wheelchair. They see someone broken, someone to pity. You and Emma, you looked at me and saw. A person, just a person. That's all you are. Marcus's hand found hers on the table. Rough, calloused fingers lacing with soft, manicured ones. Just a person who deserves to be treated with kindness. Is that what this is? Kindness? Marcus's thumb traced circles on her palm. I don't know what this is, but I know Emma asks about you every night, and I know when I think about moving upstate, starting over, the thing that makes it less scary is knowing you'll be there. Victoria's grey eyes were luminous. Marcus, I'm complicated. My life is complicated. The company, the board, my family, Robert, there's so much you don't know. So much baggage and history and... I'm a widower with a 7-year-old daughter and $37 in my checking account. I think we're both pretty complicated. She laughed through tears. We're a disaster, aren't we? Probably. Marcus squeezed her hand. But maybe that's okay. Emma appeared beside the table, climbing onto the seat next to Victoria. Why is the pretty lady crying again, Daddy? Sometimes people cry when they're happy, baby. Are you happy? Emma asked Victoria seriously. Victoria gathered Emma into her arms, holding her close. Yes, I'm very happy. Then it's okay. Emma patted Victoria's back. Daddy cries in the shower sometimes. He thinks I don't hear him, but I do. And I know he's sad, but also happy because he has me. Marcus's throat tightened. Emma, it's true. Emma looked at him with 7-year-old certainty. You're the saddest happy person I know, Daddy. But maybe Victoria can help make you more happy and less sad. Victoria and Marcus looked at each other over Emma's dark curls. And for the first time in 3 years, Marcus thought maybe, just maybe, there was more to life than surviving. Maybe there was living too. I'd like that, Victoria whispered. Helping make you more happy and less sad. Yeah, Marcus said. I'd like that too. Outside Joe's cafe, Robert Hayes sat in his Mercedes and made a phone call. It's me. I need you to run a complete background check on someone. Marcus Riley, age 33, mechanic. And I want to know everything, especially anything my ex-wife wouldn't want to know. He hung up, smiled, and drove away. Inside, 3 people who were broken in different ways sat together and tried to figure out if broken pieces could somehow fit together into something whole. The answer would come, but not yet. 3 weeks later, Marcus stood in the lobby of Hayes Technologies' upstate facility, wearing a button-down Emma had picked out at Goodwill. $7. The collar was frayed, but clean and pressed. "Mr. Riley," Victoria's assistant appeared with a tablet. "Miss Hayes is running late. Board meeting. Coffee?" "I'm fine, thank you." Marcus had never been inside a building like this. Glass and steel everywhere, polished marble floors, people in expensive suits barely glancing at him. The apartment Victoria arranged was 3 bedrooms, rent included. Emma had her own room for the first time. She'd cried happy tears, but the neighbors stared when they moved in. The complex was for executives. Marcus was maintenance. "Daddy works for the company," Emma had explained proudly to a boy on the playground. "He fixes things." The boy's mother had smiled tightly. How nice! Then she'd called her son away. Marcus understood. They saw charity case, project, the billionaire's pet. "Marcus." Victoria wheeled toward him in a black dress. Her smile was relieved. "I'm so sorry, the board is complicated." "It's fine." Marcus wanted to hug her, but not here, not in front of everyone watching. "I'm here to review the maintenance plans." Something flickered in Victoria's eyes. Disappointment. "Of course. Let's go to my office." Her office was top floor, panoramic views, furniture like art. Marcus felt like an intruder. "Sit, please." Victoria gestured to a leather chair. "How's Emma adjusting?" "Good. The school is—" Marcus's throat tightened. "She loves it. Thank you. You've thanked me 17 times in 3 weeks. You earned this position, Marcus." "Did I? Or did you create it because you felt sorry for us?" "Marcus, I heard 2 engineers yesterday. They called me Victoria's charity project. Said you're collecting strays because you can't have real relationships, that I'm this month's project." Victoria's face went pale. "Marcus, you know that's not—" "Do I?" Marcus stood, pacing. "From where I'm standing, it looks convenient. You were lonely. You met a poor single father. Now you get to play savior while I play grateful servant. Is that what you think? I don't know what to think. I don't know how to be here without remembering you're a billionaire and I'm a mechanic. I don't know how to fall for someone who could destroy my life with a phone call." Silence. "You're falling for me?" Victoria's voice was barely audible. Marcus closed his eyes. "That's what you heard? Marcus, look at me." He did. Victoria's grey eyes were luminous with unshed tears. "I don't want a project. I don't want someone grateful. I don't want someone who sees me as their boss or their savior or their—" Her voice broke. "I want you, the man who shared his table without judgment, the father who would do anything for his daughter, the person who treats me like I'm just human." "Yes." Victoria wheeled closer. "I'm falling for you too, and it terrifies me. Because I have $2 billion and you have Emma, and if this goes wrong, I lose everything." Marcus knelt beside her wheelchair. "If this goes wrong, Victoria, I lose the job, the apartment, the school Emma loves. I lose the only good thing that's happened to us in 3 years. Do you understand that? The power you have over me is terrifying." They stared at each other. "So what do we do?" Victoria asked. "I don't know." "Marcus!" The door burst open. Robert Hayes strode in with 3 men in suits. "Victoria, we need to—" Robert stopped, seeing Marcus. His smile was vicious. "Interrupting something." Victoria's face hardened. "Robert, get out." "I'm afraid I can't. This concerns the board." Robert pulled out a folder. "This is Marcus Riley, the maintenance director my ex-wife hired despite his lack of qualifications and obvious conflict of interest." Marcus stood slowly. "Mr. Hayes, you're taking advantage of a vulnerable woman. You saw an opportunity, a lonely, disabled billionaire, and seized it." "Disabled?" Victoria's voice was deadly. "Robert, The board is concerned. Your recent behavior has been erratic, hiring unqualified staff, making emotional decisions. Protected from the cripple. Victoria's hands gripped her wheelchair. Is that what you mean? Robert opened the folder. Marcus Riley, high school diploma, no college, no certifications, but somehow director of a $50 million facility. Marcus felt the room shrink. I've worked on cars since I was 16. You're a mechanic. Robert's contempt was palpable. My ex-wife gave you 6 figures because your daughter gives good hugs. Get out. Victoria's voice shook. All of you. The board wants an independent review. We'll be back tomorrow with the audit team. Mr. Riley, start updating your resume. They left. Marcus couldn't look at Victoria. They're right, I'm not qualified. I'm a mechanic with a high school diploma. Because you're brilliant. You rebuilt a transmission in under an hour. Because you felt sorry for me. No. She slammed her hand on the desk. You earned this. Maybe I moved too fast. Maybe I let feelings cloud judgment, but you deserve to be here. Your board thinks you're making emotional decisions. Your ex thinks I'm using you. Half the facility thinks I'm your charity case. They're not right. How do you know I'm not just some poor bastard who saw an opportunity? Because I know you. I know you'd rather starve than accept something unearned. You don't know me. You know the story you want me to be. Marcus grabbed his jacket. I'm just a mechanic who got lucky when a billionaire felt lonely. He left. Marcus drove to Patterson's. Mr. Patterson was under a Subaru. Riley? Thought you were too fancy now. Can I help just for today? Patterson studied him. Rough day at the palace? Something like that. Honda in Bay 3 needs transmission work. Marcus grabbed his tools and felt like himself again. His phone buzzed. Victoria. Then again. He turned it off. At 6:47 p.m., he picked up Emma from school. She wore new shoes, ones Victoria had bought. Daddy, my essay was best in class. D. Emma waved a paper with a gold star. I wrote about you, about how you're the bravest person. Marcus's eyes stung. That's wonderful, baby. Are you sad? Just tired. Is it the mean people who say we don't belong? Marcus's heart stopped. What mean people? Mrs. Whitmore told Mrs. Chen we're Victoria's pets. Marcus pulled over and held Emma tight. Some people don't understand. They see the world in boxes. But those boxes are lies. You belong anywhere you are. But do we belong here, Daddy, or are we pretending? Marcus didn't have an answer. That night, Marcus's phone buzzed. Victoria. 23 missed calls. He answered. Marcus, I can't do this. I can't be your project. Then don't be. Be the man I love. Marcus's breath caught. Victoria, I love you. I'm in love with you. And I don't care if it's fast or if the board thinks I'm emotional. I love you. You barely know me. I know you're the first person in 3 years who didn't treat me like I was broken. I know your daughter has a better heart than most adults. When I'm with you, I feel whole. Marcus pressed his palm to his chest. If this doesn't work, then we failed together. But please don't walk away because you're scared. I'm terrified. Me too. They breathed together. Robert's going to destroy me. The audit, they'll fire me. Then we fight. Marcus looked at Emma sleeping, her own room in a safe building. Okay, we fight. Thank you. Come over. I need to see you. Marcus checked on Emma, texted Mrs. Chen, drove to Victoria's penthouse. She opened the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt, more beautiful than ever. Hi. Hi. Marcus stepped forward. Victoria wheeled into his arms. They held each other. I'm sorry. For what I said. Don't. You were scared. I understand. I'm still scared. Good. That means it matters. She kissed him. Soft, tentative. Marcus kissed back. Yes. We're going to be okay. How do you know? Because you're here, because we're fighting, because love is worth the risk. Marcus wanted to believe her, but tomorrow the board would come. Tomorrow Robert would try to destroy everything. Tonight he held Victoria close and pretended the world was kind. The audit team arrived at 8 a.m. 6 people in navy suits, carrying tablets and skepticism. Marcus stood in his office and watched them photograph everything. His desk, his files, his toolbox with Emma's college fund envelope. Mr. Riley, we need to review your qualifications. A woman with severe glasses sat across from him. Educational background. High school diploma. Certifications. None. She made a note. Management experience. None before this. Previous salary. 32,000. And now 78,000. Plus housing. Plus benefits. That's a 243% increase. Her smile was razor thin. Ms. Hayes is personally involved with you, correct? We're seeing each other. Yes. So she gave her boyfriend 6 figures and authority over a $50 million facility. You can see how that might appear inappropriate. I earned this position. Did you? Or did you cry poverty to a lonely, vulnerable woman? Marcus stood. I think we're done. Mr. Riley, sit down. We have 17 more questions. No, you want to fire me? Fire me, but I won't sit here and be insulted. He walked out. Marcus drove. His phone rang. Emma's school. Mr. Riley, we have a situation. 10 minutes later, Emma sat in the corner, face red from crying, bruise forming on her cheek. What happened? Bradley's mother came for early pickup, saw Emma on the playground, made comments about your living situation. Emma confronted her. Mrs. Henderson slapped her. Marcus's vision went white. She what? Police are called. Mrs. Henderson is being charged. But Emma, she called you a gold digger, Emma burst out. Said we were leeches. Said Victoria was stupid for wasting money on trash. And I told her you were worth $1 million of her, and she hit me. Marcus gathered Emma. Baby, I'm so sorry. It's not true, right, Daddy? We're not gold diggers? No, baby, no. But Marcus heard doubt in his voice. Emma heard it too. At 3:10 p.m., Victoria showed up. Marcus opened the door. Where's Emma? Sleeping. She got hit today by Bradley's mother because of us. I know. Principal Morrison called. Our attorneys will prosecute fully. That won't fix Emma's face. No. Victoria's voice broke. Marcus, I'm sorry. I never meant. Maybe they're right. Maybe we should end this before more people get hurt. You don't mean that. Your ex is destroying my career. Your board thinks I'm a con artist. My daughter got hit because people think we're gold diggers. The audit team will recommend termination. I know. The board will force me to choose, you or the company. Then choose the company. No, I won't lose you to make them comfortable. You'll lose everything. Not everything. I'll still have you, if you want me. Emma deserves better than this. Emma deserves parents who love each other and fight for that love. She deserves to see that money doesn't define worth. Victoria's voice was fierce. She deserves the truth. That night, Victoria stayed. She slept on the couch while Marcus lay awake. At 2 a.m., he heard Emma. Are you the wheelchair lady? I am, and you're Emma, the girl with the best hugs. Are you going to leave us, like everyone says? No, sweetheart, I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise. My daddy loves you, I can tell. Victoria's breath caught. Your daddy is very special. I know, he's the best dad ever, even if we're poor. Being poor doesn't make you less. Your worth isn't in your bank account, it's in your heart. Bradley's mom says we're leeches. Bradley's mom is wrong and scared. Do you really love us, or are we your project? The question hung in the air. I love you, both of you, not because I want to save you, but because your dad is the kindest, strongest man I've ever met, and because you're the bravest little girl in the world. Then why do people want to take Daddy's job? Because they're afraid. When people see something different, they get scared. And scared people do mean things. Are you scared? Terrified? Me too. But Daddy says brave is being scared and doing the right thing anyway. Your daddy is right. Will you be brave with us? Yes, Emma, I will. Emma climbed onto Victoria's lap. Victoria sobbed softly. Two broken pieces found each other. The next morning, the board called an emergency meeting. Marcus wasn't invited, but Victoria insisted. If you're firing him, you do it with him in the room. They sat around a mahogany table. 12 board members. Robert, the audit team. Victoria at the head. Marcus against the wall. The audit results are clear, the woman announced. Mr. Riley is unqualified. His hiring violated policy. His relationship with Ms. Hayes is a conflict of interest. We recommend immediate termination. And my position? Victoria's voice was ice. The board feels recent decisions demonstrate poor judgment. We're recommending a vote of no confidence. A coup, Victoria said flatly. We're protecting the company from emotional, reckless leadership. Robert's smile was victorious. Victoria, you've always been brilliant, but since the accident, what? Say it. I've become what? Weak, emotional, desperate. You see some mechanic with a sob story and you throw money at him. You make decisions with your heart. That's dangerous. Dangerous? Victoria looked around. Let me tell you what's dangerous. A board that values profit over people. Executives who see employees as disposable. A culture that rewards cruelty. Victoria, I'm not finished. She wheeled around the table. Marcus Riley has 15 years' experience. He took a transmission apart in under an hour. He diagnosed problems 3 engineers missed. He saved $40,000 in 3 weeks. But you want to fire him. Why? Silence. Because he's poor? Because he didn't go to MIT? Because he dates me? All of the above, Robert said smoothly. He doesn't belong here, Victoria. And deep down you know it. You're right. Victoria's voice went soft, deadly. He doesn't belong here. None of us do. We're all just people, Robert. Some of us inherited wealth. Some of us earned it. Some of us got lucky. But at the end of the day, we're all just people. And Marcus is a better person than anyone in this room. That's not the point. It's the only point. Victoria looked at Marcus. The question is, do we build a company based on credentials and pedigree, or do we build it on character and competence? Do we hire people who look right on paper, or do we hire people who do right in practice? This is absurd, one of the board members cut in. We can't run a multi-billion-dollar company on feel-good platitudes. Then I quit. Victoria's voice was calm, clear. I resign, effective immediately. The room exploded. Victoria, you can't think about what you're... I have thought about it. Victoria looked at Marcus. For 3 weeks, I've thought about nothing else. And I realized something. I built this company because I wanted to change the world. I wanted to create opportunities. I wanted to prove that technology could serve humanity, not the other way around. But somewhere along the way, I forgot that. I started caring more about market share than about the people who make those markets possible. She turned to the board. So yes, I quit. Robert, you wanted the company, it's yours. But I'm taking my 48% and starting something new, something better, something that values people like Marcus. She wheeled toward the door, then stopped, looked back. Marcus, are you coming? Every eye in the room turned to him. Marcus stood slowly, his heart pounding so hard he thought everyone could hear it. His voice cracked. He cleared his throat. Thought of Emma at school, writing essays about how he was the bravest person she knew. I need to say something first. Marcus, you don't have to... Yes, I do. Marcus stepped forward into the center of the room. 12 board members staring, the audit team, Robert Hayes with his perfect suit and contempt, and Victoria watching with grey eyes full of love and fear. Marcus's hands were shaking. He shoved them in his pockets. felt the calluses on his palms, proof of every hour worked, every sacrifice made. "My name is Marcus Riley," he began, voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. "I'm 33 years old. I made, past tense, $32,000 a year, working 70-hour weeks at Patterson's Auto Repair, sometimes 80 hours when rent was due. I have a 7-year-old daughter named Emma, who I'm raising alone because my wife Sarah was killed 3 years ago by a drunk driver. That driver got 6 months house arrest. He's free now. Sarah's still dead." The room was silent. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat. "I've been 3 months behind on rent for a year straight. I've skipped meals, breakfast, lunch, sometimes dinner, so Emma could eat 3 times a day. I've worn the same pair of work boots for 8 years because new ones cost $120 I didn't have. When Emma's shoes got holes, I cut cardboard inserts. When her jacket got too small, I told her it was fashionable to wear it short. When she asked why we couldn't go on field trips like other kids, I told her we were saving for something special. We weren't. We were just broke." Marcus's voice cracked. He swallowed hard, kept going. "I'm not qualified to be here. You're absolutely right about that. I don't have a degree from MIT or Stanford. I don't have certifications with fancy stamps. I don't come from money or connections or the right zip code. I'm exactly what you think I am. A poor mechanic who got lucky when a billionaire offered him something he hadn't earned." He looked directly at Victoria. She was crying silently. "But here's what you don't know about me. You don't know that I learned everything about cars from my father, Jose Riley, who immigrated from Mexico with $40 in his pocket and a toolbox older than I am. You don't know that my dad worked 3 jobs, mechanic during the day, janitor at night, lawn care on weekends, so I could stay in school. You don't know that he died when I was 18, heart attack at 47, because he worked himself to death trying to give me a better life." Marcus's throat was tight, but he pushed through. "You don't know that I taught myself hydraulics and electrical systems by reading manuals at the public library, because I couldn't afford to buy them. You don't know that I've worked every single day since I was 16 years old, never called in sick, never complained, never asked for help, because my father taught me that honest work is its own dignity. He used to say, 'Mijo, kindness costs nothing, but it's worth everything.' I've tried to live by that." Robert opened his mouth. Marcus raised his hand, and something in his eyes made Robert close it again. "You don't know Victoria. Not really." Marcus turned to look at the board members one by one. "You see a woman in a wheelchair and you think damaged goods. You see her make a decision with her heart and you think weak, emotional, unstable. But I see the strongest person I've ever met in my entire life. I see someone who looked at a stranger covered in grease and motor oil and saw a human being worthy of respect. I see someone who hugged my 7-year-old daughter and cried because she'd actually forgotten, what genuine kindness felt like. I see someone who built a multi-billion-dollar company and still has the courage to walk away from it when she realizes it's become something she doesn't believe in." His voice rose, filling every corner of that boardroom. "So fire me, vote me out, write articles about how I was Victoria Hayes's charity case, her pet project, her mistake. I don't care anymore. Because I would rather be poor and kind than rich and cruel. I would rather struggle with my integrity intact than succeed by stepping on people who are already down. And I would rather be exactly who I am, a mechanic, a father, a man who treats people with basic human decency, than be anything like you." The silence was absolute, deafening. Marcus turned to Victoria. "I'm coming, let's go." They left together. Marcus could hear the room erupting behind them, voices rising in shock and anger and maybe, just maybe, shame. But he didn't look back, wouldn't give them that. In the elevator, Victoria was sobbing openly. Not delicate tears, but full, body-shaking sobs. "Marcus, you didn't have to. I can't believe you. That was the bravest." She couldn't finish. The truth. Marcus knelt beside her wheelchair, taking both her hands in his. His hands were still shaking from the adrenaline, from saying everything he'd held inside for weeks. "That was just the truth. All of it. You just gave up everything for me." "No." He pressed his forehead to hers. "I just chose what matters. There's a difference." Victoria laughed through her tears. "You're insane. You know that? You just burned every bridge in that building." "Good. They were bridges to places I didn't want to go anyway." The elevator doors opened. They wheeled into that beautiful glass and marble lobby where Marcus had felt so small just hours ago, days ago, weeks ago. Now it was just a building, just glass and steel and money. And he was just a man who'd spoken his truth, defended the woman he loved, and walked away with his dignity intact. That was enough, more than enough. Outside, Emma was waiting with Mrs. Chen. She'd insisted on coming, on being there when it was over. She wore her school uniform, the one from the good school, the one Marcus had fought so hard to keep her in. Fought, and ultimately lost. But it didn't matter now. None of it mattered, except this, his daughter safe and whole and waiting for him. "Daddy!" She ran to him, launching herself into his arms with complete faith that he would catch her. And he did. Always would. "Did you do it? Did you tell them?" "I told them, baby." "Did you tell them you're the bravest, most amazing dad in the whole world?" Marcus's throat closed up. "I told them something like that." Emma pulled back, studying his face with her 7-year-old wisdom. Then she turned to Victoria. "Are you okay, wheelchair lady?" Victoria laughed through tears, the sound breaking and beautiful. "I'm perfect, Emma, absolutely perfect. Good." Emma took both their hands, her small fingers wrapping around Marcus's calloused palm and Victoria's soft one, connecting them, making them whole. "Can we go home now? Our real home?" Marcus looked at Victoria. Victoria looked at Marcus, and in that look they said everything that mattered. Yes, together always. "Yeah, baby," Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. "Let's go home." The apartment was exactly as Marcus had left it. Small, worn, but theirs. Victoria wheeled in, looking around. "It's not much," he started. "It's perfect." Emma was already showing Victoria everything. "This is where Daddy and I eat breakfast. And my room, it's small, but I have a window. Show me everything, Emma." Marcus watched Victoria admire the drawings on the refrigerator, the thrift store furniture. She touched everything gently, like it was precious. "Your father made this." Victoria looked at a small shelf from scrapwood. "Yeah, he makes all kinds of stuff. He's extraordinary." After Emma slept, Victoria and Marcus sat on the small balcony. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. "Now we figure it out. You just gave up billions." "I gave up a company. I still own 48% of the stock, about $1 billion. But I don't want to be CEO anymore. I want to build something new, something better." "Like what?" "I don't know yet, but I'd like to figure it out with you." Marcus was quiet. "Victoria, I need to tell you something. About Sarah's accident." She waited. "The drunk driver who killed her, James Hartley. He was coming from your business dinner, your product launch. He was one of your vice presidents." Victoria went very still. "The company gave him the best lawyers, made sure he got house arrest instead of prison." Marcus looked at her. "I didn't know until 2 weeks ago. I saw it in the paperwork. Hayes Technologies, your company protected my wife's killer." Victoria was crying. "I didn't know. The legal department handled it. They didn't tell me. Oh God, Marcus, I'm so sorry. I know you didn't know, but I needed you to understand why today was hard. Why choosing you felt like betraying Sarah. You should hate me. I don't. Marcus took her hands. That's what I realized. I don't hate you. I love you. And those two things exist together. Painful and beautiful and real. How can you forgive? Because you're not your company. You're just Victoria, the woman who cried when my daughter hugged her, the woman who quit a billion-dollar company for integrity. They held each other as city lights flickered below. There's something else, Victoria said, about my accident. Marcus waited. I told you I fell asleep, but the truth is I tried to kill myself. Marcus's breath caught. The divorce was ugly. Robert said I was unfit. And I was tired, so tired of fighting. I thought if I just let go, let the car drift, let it end. Victoria, I woke up 6 weeks later with no legs, no husband. And I was angry that it hadn't worked, that I was still here, still broken. She stopped. It took 2 years to understand that losing my legs wasn't punishment, it was a second chance. Marcus pulled her close. You survived, you rebuilt. That's strength. I'm scared I'm still that person, scared I'll fail you and Emma. You survived. You created a life worth living. You deserve every good thing, including you, especially me. They kissed, soft and certain. One more thing, Victoria said, about my family, my grandfather. What about him? His name was Miguel Valdez. He immigrated from Mexico in 1967 with his wife and 2 children. My mother was 6. They had nothing, just hope and determination. Marcus's heart stopped. Victoria. Miguel worked as a mechanic, saved every penny, eventually opened his own shop. He loved it. He used to say, kindness costs nothing, but it's worth everything. Marcus couldn't breathe. My mother was ashamed of our background. She married into old money, changed our name from Valdez to Hayes, erased our history. But my grandfather was the best man I knew. When I met you, when I heard you say that phrase, when I saw how you worked, I saw him. I saw my grandfather in you. That's why I offered you the job, why I couldn't walk away. You reminded me of who I was supposed to be. Victoria took his hands. My grandfather died when I was 12. He left me a letter. He said, Mija, never forget where you come from. Never be ashamed of honest work. Never stop being kind. I forgot for 20 years, but when I met you, I remembered. Marcus was crying. Victoria. So you see, you didn't take advantage. You saved me. You and Emma reminded me what matters, who I am, where I come from. They held each other, 2 people from the same roots finding their way back. What do we do now? Now we start over. Build something new. Maybe a non-profit, helping single parents, funding education. Maybe a business, you fixing cars, me handling business. Something we haven't thought of yet, but together, with integrity, with kindness, the way my grandfather would have. And Emma? Emma gets 2 parents who love her, who will show her that worth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in character. They sat together as dawn broke. Marcus thought about his father, about Sarah, about Miguel, about people who'd worked and loved without ever being seen, about how kindness really cost nothing, but was worth everything. 3 months later, Marcus and Victoria stood before a small building. Valdez Riley Community Workshop. Emma cut the ribbon, grinning wide. Inside, 20 workstations waited, tools, computers, classrooms. My grandfather would have loved this, Victoria said. So would my dad. Marcus squeezed her hand. The first class started next week. Single parents, formerly incarcerated. Anyone who needed a chance. Daddy! Emma held up a picture. 3 stick figures, Daddy, Victoria and me, under a yellow sun. Behind them a building labelled Home. It's perfect, Victoria whispered. It is, Marcus agreed. That night they sat on their balcony. Do you ever regret it? Victoria asked. Never. Do you? Not once. This is real. Below, thousands struggled, hoped, worked, loved. People like Miguel Valdez, like Marcus's father, like Sarah, people who made the world better through kindness. Marcus finally understood he'd been worthy all along. Not because Victoria chose him, not because he stood up to the board, but because he'd loved fiercely, worked with integrity, treated people with kindness. That was enough. That was everything. "I love you," Victoria whispered. "I love you too," Marcus said. And under a yellow sun they couldn't see but knew was coming, they held each other and dreamed of tomorrow.